27. Did 13 years time. Today's my last day. Got a new place. Got a new job. But the really big news, I met my son. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2024 thriller 5 Pounds of Pressure. The film is written and directed by Phil Alcock and it stars Luke Evans, Alex Pettyfer and Rory Culkin. Now the film follows Luke Evans' character Adam, who has he spent some time in prison for somebody that he shot dead in the streets. I think it's 13 years earlier. So he's paid his price. He has just basically finished his parole. So he is pretty much a free man now. So he's back in his old neighbourhood. And he wants to kind of make amends with his ex. And he wants to meet his son, who he's never met before. As you could imagine, there is a great deal of resistance from his ex to get him involved with his son again. And running alongside that, there is a petty criminal, I suppose, played by Alex Pettyfer, Leff, and his, I think it's his nephew, Rory Culkin, who plays Mike. He kind of, he's running deals on the streets. He's trying to be the hard man. He's making deals, trying to make money. Rory Culkin's character's trying to do better. He wants to make more money, so on and so forth. And essentially, they are heading for a collision course with Luke Evans' character because Luke Evans is directly linked to those, as the person he killed 13 years previously was the brother of one of Alex Pettyfer's gang. Right, what are my thoughts on 5 Pounds of Pressure? Well, this is essentially a very competently made thriller that keeps you engaged throughout. It's well made, the dialogue's of a good standard, the writing's good, and the performances are all top notch throughout. I don't have an issue with any of that sort of thing. I think the pacing a lot of people will struggle with, and the reason why I think me personally, I don't mind slow burn movies or slow paced films if the content in there it keeps you really, really interested. And as I've said, the writing's decent and the direction and the performances are all of a good standard. But the story isn't engrossing enough to kind of keep you gripped. You can it gets to a point in the film about, 60% into the film, you're kind of thinking, I know where this is heading. I can just feel what's going to happen here. And it's kind of how it turns out for the most part. Not exactly how I had it in my head. So it's kind of predictable as well at the same time. It's one of those films that you're not going to walk away from with a big smile on your face, that's for sure. So it's quite a brave ending. And do you know what? When the film finished, and I don't know why I wasn't thinking about it while the film was on and I was watching it, I was thinking, do you know what this reminded me of? Carlito's Way. You know, the Al Pacino film, where he's like an ex-con that gets back on the streets and he kind of gets drawn back into criminality and ultimately someone is wronged from his past kind of takes him out at the end. It kind of has a similar feel to this film. They are kind of shadows of each other. Just obviously Carlito's Way is done with a lot more polish, pizzazz and budget and interest, whereas this one is like a much more reserved, probably grounded approach of telling a similar story. Before I was going to watch this film, when I kind of read the synopsis and stuff, I just assumed that this was, I don't know why, I just assumed it was just set in England. From the screenshots and things that I was seeing, it was like, oh, it's an English film. And obviously, because Luke Evans is English. But no, it's definitely not. And is it Brooklyn? I'm not actually sure now. I can't just remember now. But no, Luke Evans is obviously very capable of doing the American accent and all that kind of stuff. And it is a very, very strong performance by him, I have to say. But it's also an ensemble piece because he's not just the main lead here. I would say that Rory Culkin is probably the co-lead here, and Alex Pettyfer is got a big part in the film. But Rory Culkin, obviously the brother of Macaulay Culkin, all grown up now, and I think he's actually quite a talented actor, and he does a pretty decent job of playing a criminal, but that doesn't suit him. That role doesn't suit him. The character that he's playing. And then at the end of the film, the trouble he gets into, the desperation, because he tries to pull off a deal that goes completely wrong, and he's desperate then because he owes money to some real loan shark, and he's desperate to get this money back and he's the levels he goes to try and get this money back. It was quite gripping to watch. That was probably the last 10 minutes is probably the bit where you kind of started feeling on edge of your seat stuff, because everybody's stories were starting to meet, sort of thing. Everybody's stories were starting to come together. It's one of those films where they start at the beginning and there's very little connection. Right at the end they all kind of clash together, and I think the film did a pretty good job of kind of bubbling everything away until it kind of gets to that point where all the main characters of this piece kind of go hand in hand and kind of finish the story together. So yeah, I think this is a competent thriller. The predictability of it and the slow pace, I think, probably harms it. And it's not an exciting film. It's a thriller with relationship drama stuff going on in it, and it's got other things like that going off in it. It's not definitely going to keep you on the edge of your seat or anything, this one, but I enjoyed my time with it, and I appreciated the effort that went into it. So yeah, check out £5 of Pressure if you get the option. It's definitely a decent thriller if you like that sort of thing. So thanks for joining me for this review, guys. I will of course be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.